Alright, what's up, guys? Today we're doing another, not another goddamn video like usual, but we're doing a new little thing here. That's just a one off, not a one off really, but it's just me explaining a little bit on what goes on into the minds of the grind, since some people think that there's some rocket science going on behind these tuneskis. So I just want to clear shit up and just explain a little bit of what the hell, you know, because it's useful. But I decided to use my most recent song that I uploaded literally yesterday because that's the easiest to talk about, like in terms of how things came about, and this is pretty much how everything goes. Even like the serious songs, like on my Paranormal Mind album, the thought process behind the actual songwriting when it's like riffs is no different. It's the exact same, essentially. So, without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm actually gonna play the whole song, but pause it at certain points to talk about stuff that may help. But I think the first thing I should call out here, immolated by horse. I mean, you're gonna look at that title and be like, how the fuck did this crazy son of a bitch come up with this title? Well, first of all, I appreciate the compliment, but second of all, I came up with it kind of like on the spot. Like, I was literally sitting there like, fuck, I don't know what the fuck to write the lyrics about, because I had recorded an intro scream, and I was like, fuck. I recorded the intro scream, which is a 30-second scream, just literally, I timed it exactly like 30 seconds and like 30 milliseconds or something. And after that, because I wanted to track a scream like that, because it was a long section, but I didn't feel like the second half of that intro needed, lyrics, and I didn't really feel like it should have silence. So instead of doing two long screams, I was just like, well, fuck it, I might as well break some records today. I think my previous longest would have been on Unholy Introspection. Yeah, that would have been my previously longest scream, which would have been about the same as the Lord Worm scream. But the song title, it just eventually, because I was thinking of the fact that I am in fact going. I mean, there's no secrets about this album. What it's gonna be. The Dark Tributes is a tribute to anything I feel like tributing to. So, Immolated by Horse, it's actually about sleeping with horse, but nasty, nasty horse that give you nasty, nasty crabs and a terrible itch. Hence, immolated by horse means that your fucking nutsack is on fire. And this is actually a direct inspiration from Trailer Park Boys in the episode where, Bubbles, he has the whole shed and breakfast thing, and it gets ruined by this news anchor coming over for a fucking stag party, and, they end up getting a bunch of hookers, and they're the dirtiest hookers, known to man, essentially, and they fucking all the sheds, and the sheds become fucking infested with crabs, and even Bubbles' cat is infested by crabs. So that is essentially what it is, and it's a direct reference to Trailer Park Boys, but it's not the as direct as it could be, because it does tell a different story. This one's just like a guy. This song is really just about a guy who has a really hard time staying away from the lot lizards, and he keeps finding himself drinking and banging whores and having to use crab shampoo the next day. But we all have our habits, we all have our things, we all have our hobbies. So I'm not here to judge. I'm sure he has a happy life in his whore banging endeavors. Anyways, that's enough on the goddamn. I've talked longer than the goddamn song duration on just that. So let's get into the actual songwriting here, and I already told you about the intro scream, but I'm actually gonna, I think, pause after the intro riff. Well, it would appear that my dumbass pressed spacebar on my recording software. Now, I will press spacebar in Google, in Firefox instead. So, that riff was actually really fucking hard to record. But I was kind of noodling around because I wanted like a death metal riff. And actually the first riff I wrote is actually the... So, I'll just put it a little closer. The riff that goes... But you know... And the bass, well, we can talk about that later. So that was actually the first riff I came up with, but I was like, I don't want this to be like a Dismember Swedish death metal song, so I can put that under the guitar solo, because that is like a guitar solo riff, right? So I can put that later. So I already had that riff under my bullet belt. So... This is the actual riff. I'm just gonna play single notes because when it gets quieter on the mic. I know you can probably hear it just fine, but the notes are... So, and you know, the fucking harmony. Yeah, that's what I play there. Had to... Yeah, so... So that's just the main riff. And the reason why it's hard to record is because that's one of those riffs where once I have it down, it's going to be like... You know... Once I actually, like, have recorded, I'm gonna have it down enough to play it well. But upon writing that riff, it was... It's the whole thing that... It's that it goes... It's a lot of movement. If I can show that here, it's... It's specifically the part where it goes... That following became difficult upon just the inception of recording the song and coming out with the riff, which the way I just do things is usually as caveman as it gets. I just say, I'm gonna write a song in the style of this artist, and then I go. And actually, in this case, I didn't really think of any artist. I was just like, I'm gonna write a Suicidal Grind song, and I think that's what really happened here. I wrote a Suicidal Grind song, like this and Paranormal Mind, Forbidden Mind, and Abhorrent Mind. A lot of minds going on there, and I'm out of mine. Those songs is what I call those are like the Suicidal Grind thing now. It's like you have like a deicide, you know, Malevolent Creation thing going on, like a little bit of combination of those two bands. But you know, I mean, it just becomes more of my own style and stuff like that. There's even some, I even threw a part in there that's kind of like a Nile part. We'll get to that. So let's actually get to that, because I mean, I've been yapping. But I think you get the gist. That riff is actually so fucking tricky to just get, and get right for that matter, because the way I play it is, I do this, but then I do the thing that fucked with my mind is that I do, and then I do, because it's not comfortable for me to go with. And I actually do play. I played that note there instead of just you know, making a big stretch there. So that's still a pretty, you know, when it's at whatever BPM we're talking here, you know, that should be 240, yeah, and we're about to head into a riff that is 200 BPM in 6/4 time signature. But if you listen, the time signature is even more fucked up in the sense where the riff lands. It isn't 6/4. It physically isn't 6/4, but the riff, it starts, and then it does it one time, the way it does it, and then it, you know, strays from that. So obviously, the concept of the riff is so it's what makes this one tricky is because I essentially recorded this one kind of improv, because, you know, I was thinking of the riff in a way, and the thing is, it should have not had 4 chugs on the second round, so it would have been. See, it's already happening. But now that you hear that, you hear how it's like a little less interesting in a way, because, you know, you got the. So you got a little more interesting going on there, so it's a little more just than that. And then there's another pretty tricky riff just to get right, for that matter. And but it's doable, but it does come around to an easier, more straightforward, not fucking floating-esque 6/4 riff in a little bit, I believe.
My cock is irritated by the vermin of the hills, so I must go to get it sorted. before I get to get no more. Immolation. My eyes. Immolation.
And for this part, I wanted to do the double vocals, so I did like the Donald Tardy in the left ear, you know, like the like overdriven fucking pronunciation. I did that on the left ear because I love doing that. It's I think it sounds fucking awesome, but I combined it with like, you know, just complete guttural growl, just as slow as I could go. I need to hear the riff so I can talk about it a little bit. Okay, so that riff is. That one's pretty easy. It's just a melody that goes. Oh, whoopsie daisies. See here, you can fuck up when you play it wrong. There you have that riff. You know, I'm essentially teaching the song at a slower pace, but not the solo, because that's not going to happen. Again, just, you know, in my head, I'm not even thinking. I'm just, okay, we're putting this fucking riff here, you know, kind of just, because again, I just kind of jam around to get the riff and a certain style, and I guess in this part, I really wanted to go a little more brutality, but more like, it's like if Morbid Angel went brutal death metal, in a way. But here you have one of the riffs that I was like, this is gonna be boring, but I actually love the way this one came out. It's the next riff. I can play it. Wait. Just a simple inverted fucking bar chord goddamn riff, really. Nothing special, nothing fancy. We don't need to be fancy anyway.
Flash time.
Go!
I mean, I do even need to explain that riff. I'm pretty sure a caveman can figure that one. This is. But you know, with chords. And then, you know, just a little dive bomb there, and just a long ass scream, because there's plenty of those. And someone actually pointed it out. Well, it was Lapolic in private DMs. Yeah. Imagine private DMs with the grind. Okay, but the thing for me is when I do these insanely, you know, insanely long high screams, I use as little power as possible in as little air as possible as well. I just go, yeah. See, I can do that pretty easily. I don't feel strain so much on my throat because I don't push so much, you know. It's essentially the lightest I can go before it just becomes, you know, just, you know, you gotta have the fucking black metal shriekiness in there. But you know, mine doesn't really sound black metal-ish anymore. It used to be much more black metal-ish sounding, my scream, my high scream, but now it's just kind of like a death metal high scream, or thrash, works either way, death thrash, whatever. But yeah, oh yeah, baby, I'm not really a pink panty black metal vocalist anyway, so I do the rough and tough death metal. This has a cool cutaway on the guitars. It gets really thin here. But yeah, that's the riff. Fucking let's go. It's that, and there you see how I meant before. That's actually what the bass does. So it's not always for the most part the bass just goes along with the, because on bass you play single notes for this. You can't go. That's impossible on bass because of the big ass strings. But sometimes, just a few times in there, I went. Oh, lower on the fret. No wonder it sounds different. On certain parts, just a few times, I went on the bass. You know, just adding a little pull on there. Hammer on, not a pull on. It's a hammer on to the top riff there, but it makes the bass also give a different feel if you just do it sometimes and not every time. If you just do, you know. And you can already hear, even though I say it's like a dismember riff, that kind of sounds a little more like a dissection thing, even though it is the same concept as dismember riff, really. It kind of becomes a little bit of a dissection black metal thing, which I have no problem with. It's kind of a mix between dissection and dismember, which, you fucking asked me, that's a good fucking mix. But yeah, the solo is really just improvising, and you know, I don't really have any secrets or anything I can share. I don't. Sell your soul to Satan. That's really all I can say. Just give your soul to Satan and worship Scar, and you'll be able to shred like me. I will admit that last part was not supposed to happen in the solo, so I actually kind of blew my mind with that part, because that lick is just like, fuck yeah, bro, I haven't played that before, you know. So I was just like, nice, fuck yeah, that's an awesome fucking shreddy last fucking lick, you know. It was pretty fucking, it is a pretty tough lick to replicate if I went back to do it, but I'm like, that was good. I was like, God damn! Immediately when I recorded the solo, I should have, you know, I was really happy with that. So that is actually a different scream that starts here, just to clarify anything. It's not the same scream. I don't go. I don't go like that. If I could, I would.
goddamn whores.
Those goddamn whores. But, yeah, I mean, there's really not much rhyme or reason to that one. Solos always improvise. So, you know, like I said, sell your soul to Satan and worship Scar, and you might be able to play like that, you know. No guarantees, of course, because Scar doesn't give free handouts, you know, just like that, but, you know, you kind of have to get on his good side first, you know. But, really, all I think, like, every time I write a song, I'm like, I'm gonna write a song like this. It's never do I go into the studio thinking, I don't know what I'm gonna write today. I don't. I just don't fucking, like, before I even opened Reaper. In fact, when I woke up, I knew I was, well, I found out a little later today, because I'm pretty sure I recorded the riffs and the solo late at night, and the drumming as well. So, bear with me a little here. What the but, yeah. I just kind of, you know, what I wanted to get across is I don't come unprepared. I'm always like, I know what I'm writing today. Like, I can tell you straight up, the next one, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Death Doom / brutal Death Doom even, because it's probably gonna have some pretty brutal stuff to it. It's gonna be related to one of the people we know of. That's right, I said it. And that's actually going to be telling a true story. It's a sad story about a certain incident that happened in a storm. That's all I give. I won't give any more information. But, yeah, really, just fucking, what you gotta do is first you gotta figure out what style you wanna write. It's really fucking easy once you get that down, because if you fucking know what style you're gonna write, you can just fucking play in that style, and then be like, there you go. It doesn't have to be good. If you start with shitty riffs, I mean, who knows? Once you put together those shitty riffs into a full song, it might become, those shitty riffs might sound great riffs instead. So, don't just you know, worry that, oh, this riff is not so technical, or this riff is just caveman, or this riff doesn't sound as good as this riff. Just fucking write, man. Just fucking write the song. Just whatever happens, just let it fucking happen. Obviously, you gotta noodle around and come up with something, you know, of your own. But just do it, man. Don't sit there and fucking have 15 takes of different riffs, because that way you're gonna be overjudging, and you're gonna be like, oh, but this note here, I want to change from a diminished to a sus note, or whatever the fuck they say in the industry. I don't give a fuck. So really, just hit the studio, but know what you're gonna write. I mean, hell, if I fucking choose to write like a fucking helix with growls on top, I'll do it. In fact, I wanted to write something glammy-ish, but do the growling over it. So it's kind of like a Children of Bodom thing, really. But I haven't gotten around to figuring out any song idea. But I gotta get to eat some fucking pizza. I have some pizza that I'm gonna heat up. Homemade, goddammit. Grind made it, of course. But, yeah, that's gonna be that, and hope you enjoyed me explaining how I write songs, even though I was kind of tired, so it didn't come across always the best. So, I'm Zeus John Grind, you've been watching me explain this shit, and, you know the motto. Stay cute.